He has worked for Sony headquarters in sales and marketing for Bandai Electronics USA in video game translation and has worked for the Honda R&D as a simultaneous interpreter since 2013. And delivers lectures in Japanese, Spanish, and Portuguese. He is the author of the Red Book, the Otefuri Guide, and has worked on the English Singable Danceable Mikagura-uta since 1994. At Mission Headquarters, he delivered monthly service announcements from 2005 to 2020, and is the head of the Translation Committee and a board member. Please welcome Reverend Marlon to the stage.
All right, everybody. Sorry to keep you waiting. Let me prepare a few things here. I'd like to invoke the memory of our dear friend, my dear friend, and an early pioneer of the SDM project, the late Reverend Jiro Morishita. For those of you who knew him, you know that Reverend Jiro was a trailblazer, and I was always confident to follow his trail. Jiro was a senior member of the Transition Committee when I first joined in 1994. And it was critical for me to get Reverend Jiro's blessing for this English SDM project. And most other people were quite enthusiastic about this project. However, Reverend Jiro was the person most vociferously against it, contrary to my expectations. When I first brought it up to Reverend Jiro, he said, "Marlon, I just don't think that we need this. Many of my local followers who are non-Japanese members don't understand any Japanese, but they are fully content and spirited in singing and dancing the service in Japanese. And they feel refreshed and enthused in doing it. And they sing like this. Yoroshu sha no sakai shiri setsu mimamasedo." And he said, they don't get it right, but it helps them, and they love doing it. And to that, I had absolutely nothing to say against that logic. For Reverend Jiro's church members, they were fine with it, and they were helping him. But I just asked him, please just try it out. And Reverend Jiro reluctantly agreed. And at the time, he was a Fresno center head, and he drove back to LA from Fresno. And it usually takes about a 4-hour drive. He did it in like 2.5. And while he was driving, and I don't recommend this, he was seen to see if he could memorize Yorozuyo while driving. And halfway to LA, he had committed to memory Yorozuyo. And then he came to me really excited as Reverend Jiro gets. And he said, "Marlon, I think this is going to work. Let's get going on this." And from that, Reverend Jiro was my first convert. Okay. And in any case, I hope I'm preaching to members of the choir, but let it be known that this English SDM will never be forced upon you or anyone. Ultimately, it is to be able to help people to be able to understand the teachings of Oyasama through the Otefuri and to be able to dance it without error and understand it. And ultimately be able to dance it exactly as Oyasama taught it. So this SDM may not be for you, you may not need it, but there are many others who do. And they may need you someday to teach it to them. So we all would benefit from learning how to do the SDM so that we can teach it and help others who need it. Every teacher knows that you only really know what you know when you can teach and share what you know. For those of us in the faith, what does this mean? To practice the teachings, to practice our faith. What does that mean? And it can mean many things, like administering the sasuke, doing hinokshin, helping and saving others. But most basically and most importantly, we must practice the teachings by practicing the service on a daily basis. And in fact, I believe one of the definitions of being a practicing Tenrikyo person is to practice the service and practice the administration of the sasuke. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about practice in the sense of a rehearsal. I mean, just doing it, okay? Just doing it. So the beauty of the Tenrikyo service is that it can be practiced by anyone at any time, at any place on this planet. All you need to do is face yourself to Jiba and just do the service. When I went to Kenya on a volunteer project, a Tenrikyo project to dig water wells in Kenya, near the Somali border, I tried to practice the service every day. I just faced northwest and I just did it. And today, plainly and open before all of you today, this project, which received the blessing of the third Shimbashira in 1994 and the present Shimbashira in 2011, you will witness for the first time a public worldwide release demonstration of the finalized English Singable Danceable Mikagura-uta for Seated Service and Yorozuyo. And this is 29 years after the start of this project. And we have come so far, but we still have a way to go. And one of the reasons that this project took 29 years to get this far was that it's much better when we're all in the same room, when we're doing all these translations and dancing, singing, which works, which doesn't work. And that requires a lot of money when you have 10, 20 people coming together. There was a time blank of 8 years where we did nothing. And finally in 2005, we decided we got to do something. And we did it together with translation conferences before and after. Sometimes we paid our own way to get on flights to come together. But I and our SDM study group is so pleased and so happy and so grateful that the Missionary Committee of Mainland Dendocho has raised $6,328.13 to help support our SDM translation conferences. And I want to thank the Missionary Committee, Reverend Onishi and Reverend Ray Tarako, in helping us in this event, and everyone who has made donations for this. So let me talk about why this English SDM is so important to the future of our faith in English-speaking countries throughout the world. First of all, we all know that the two pillars of salvation in Tenrikyo are the service and the sazuke. And we all know, or we should know, that Tenrikyo without the service would merely be a wonderful philosophy or a way of understanding life. The service is what makes this God the Parent Oyasama's teachings. Okay? And the overriding principle of this SDM project was to create a singable danceable version of Mikagura-uta which matches syllable by syllable, tune and melody of the Mikagura-uta as taught by Oyasama, and while matching the word and hand movement correlation. Okay. And for the 12 songs, we presently have about a 98 or 99% match. And I'm pleased to say that for Seated Service and Yorozuyo, which you will be witnessing today, we're at 100%. All right. I'd like to say that I am the last person who should be standing up here because I used to hate Otefuri. I couldn't dance Otefuri, and I was the Shuyoka's worst Otefuri student ever. I literally walked through the Otefuri classes, okay? But for some reason, Reverend Terada asked me to write this red book, the Otefuri guidebook. Of all people, I told him, Reverend Terada, you are mistaken in choosing me. I hated Otefuri until Kente Koshu, and I couldn't dance until Kente Koshu, and I'm still not that good. And he said, it's okay. I want you to teach it for people who don't know how to do this service and who may not like it either. But I want to give credit to Louise Sasaki because she is a person who wrote her master's thesis, and it's in the Tenri Journal of Religion, that explains the Otefuri along with illustrations, and those illustrations formed what made this book. So Satoko, please give our gratitude to Louise for writing her master's thesis. Let's give her a hand in absentia. All right, so without further ado, I have an afternoon session. I may be touching on some of those really good points later. So that's more incentive. All right, okay. Now, I'd like to introduce a few people here. And if I could ask you ladies and gentlemen to stand and take center stage here. All right. I would like to repeat a famous parable. If you give a man a fish, you have fed him for one day. If you teach a man how to fish, however, you have fed him for the rest of his life. In the same way, this applies to the Sasuke prayer as well as the service. And even if we could administer the Sasuke to someone every single day of his life, he may become physically saved for that time, or mentally saved. But to be truly saved for the rest of his life, he needs to be able to practice the teachings and the service every day for the rest of his life. And I think that is the difference between being a practicing Tenrikyo person or not. So let us practice the service on a daily basis. Okay? We need to realize the teachings of Tenrikyo without the service is, again, merely a wonderful philosophy or moral teaching, albeit a great one. Okay? And I believe that we as Yobuku of Oyasama's Path in America and other English-speaking countries and Canada need to do whatever we can to give people the best tools for English speakers of the world and to be able to do this all-important service and enable them to be able to fish for themselves for the rest of their lives. Okay? You who have gathered here today have the power to help this become a reality, and I believe that that is what Oyasama asks us to do. For your information, in the afternoon session, I will be teaching how to learn, not only learn the English SDM for Yorozuyo, but also how to be able to teach others to do the service as a missionary and salvation too. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our demonstrators. First, on your very right, we'd like to welcome from Brooklyn, New York. Let's give it up for the lovely Monique Williams. Next, from New Jersey, with pit stops in Hawaii and Texas for decades each, the lovely Satoko Sasaki Lam. Originally from Sacramento, but now from East LA, the barrio in Boyle Heights, the lovely Kay Murista. And next, from Boston, Massachusetts, originally from Cali, Colombia, correct? Medellin, Paisa, Medellin, Colombia, Reverendo Alejandro Jimenez. And from South LA and Boyle Heights, Mr. Victor Zalapa. And last but not least, our token Asian from Hawaii, Mr. Louis Nakao. All right, let's give another round of applause for our brave brave volunteers for our demonstration contest, which you'll be voting. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
All will sweep away and save us, please. Tenni o no mikoto. All will sweep away and save us, please. Tenni o no Just a word to you, to what God is saying. Listen, please. No harmful thing to you will I ever say. With this world, earth and heavens as a model, husband and wife I created with the greatest care. This is how I began this world. Namu Tenrikyo no Mikoto Yoshi Yoshi. All is sweeping away, salvation I hasten, one in all purified, then kanodai. All is sweeping away, salvation I hasten, one in all purified, then kanodai. All is sweeping away, salvation I hasten, one and all purified, then kanodai. Through all ages of the world, at all people, I've looked here and there. My heart is understood by no one, none at all. So should it be to teach and have you listen. This I have not done, that you don't know is certainly only natural. Now at this time I, God, have to the fore revealed myself and all things in full detail. Teach you, listen now. This place here in Yamato Jiba is God's residence. You say this, yet to you the origin's not known. To this origin, taught in detail, if you listen, when you have done this, whoever you and all will become spirited. Every one of you too quickly save you, since I am in haste. All the world's minds must also become spirited. Namu Tenrikyo no Mikoto Yoshi Yoshi.
So what do y'all think? I want to let you know that these brave souls practiced for the first time all together this morning, about an hour ago. And they had with partial practice last night. And I think they did an awesome job. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Reverend Susumu, Reverend Colin. Thank you guys very much. All right, we're going to start off with the prayer movement. All ills, and try to copy me if you can. All ills, sweep away and press. Save us, please. Tendi ono mikoto. Okay, awesome. You guys are lying. You know how to do it. Or am I that great of a teacher? All right, so the hand movements are pray and all ills, which means all bad things. This is human beings' request to God to sweep away all ills and to save us. And we call it the name of God, the parent Tenrikyo no Mikoto. So all ills, which means all bad things, okay? It could be dust of the mind, it could be natural disasters, accidents, famines, illnesses, everything, okay? All ills, sweep away, and until sweep away, we're going to hold our hands in the prayer position, and then when we say sweep away, we're going to sweep our heart. Sweep away, and then save us. We're going to press. The hand movement of press often occurs with either force or something firm. So when we want God to save us, we want God to save us firmly, right? Save us, press, save us, please. And then we open our hands in supplication, like asking Mommy, can I have some candy? Can I have some candy? Okay? And then we call upon the name of God, the parent Tenrikyo no Mikoto. Does anyone know what this means in Asian cultures? What does it mean? Come here. That's right, come here. So we're beckoning God to come here. In most Western societies, this means buy, right? But in Asian societies, Japan, Korea, China, this means come here, all right? So when we call God the parent's name, Tenrikyo no Mikoto, in case you didn't know that is God the parent's name in Tenrikyo. Okay, I won't explain the direct translation because it's too long to explain that. But we beckon God the parent with our right hand at shoulder level and left hand at shoulder level. Then we press to welcome God firmly, and then we have our hands in supplication to receive God's blessings. Okay, let's try that 3 times all together, right? All ills sweep away and save us, please. Tenrikyo no Mikoto. All ills sweep away and save us, please. Tenrikyo no Mikoto. All ills sweep away and save us, please. Tenrikyo no Mikoto. Okay, in case you haven't noticed, it matches syllable by syllable, matches to the tune, and in the hand movement period, it matches the meaning of Oyasama. Okay? So we have the truth of the words and the truth of the hand movements matching. Okay? And we can perceive God the Parent's deeper message through the Otefuri. Let us now go to part 2. You guys did a great job. Give yourselves a great hand there. You guys did a great job. Next, we're going to go to Choito Hanashi. I will demonstrate it for you, and if you can follow, please follow along. All right? Just a word to you, to what God is saying. Listen, please. No harmful thing to you will I ever say. With this world, earth and heavens as a model, husband and wife I created with the greatest care. This is how I began this world. Namu tendi ono mikoto. For your information, we purposely did not translate pronouns or proper names of people or places. Okay, therefore we didn't translate tendi ono mikoto. Okay, nor do we translate, for example, hinokshin, which came out in Yorozuyo. Neither do we translate Yamato, because that's the name of a place, and the Jiba, which is the name of a place as well. And it doesn't come out in this Yorozuyo song, but where the word hinokshin comes out, we don't translate that as well. All right. So choito hanashi, let's work that together. It's the hand movement for converse. These are words coming out of someone's mouth, and then we pray when we hear the word God. 100% of the time where the word kami comes out, God comes out, you're putting your hands in prayer position, and you koto, what you say, listen please. Okay, this is God's sign language. It's not rocket science. What I say, listen please. All right, and then no harmful thing to you. This is a hand movement of illness. Okay, illness is something harmful for you, right? Okay, thing to you will I ever say. Now this is a case in point where you would not really get God's full message unless you understand the hand movement meaning as well as the English or whatever word is in Japanese. In the English translation, we have the current translation says, "I will never tell you anything wrong." Wrong is a translation for ashiki. Okay, however, it comes with the hand movement of illness. Okay, so in theory, if we understand that this is a hand movement illness, we can understand that God will never teach us or say to us anything that causes harm or causes us to become ill. Not just not telling us wrong things. Okay, with that, we can understand God's deeper message. Can we go to the next line? With this world. Choito hanashi, we had one person talking. With this world, we have multiple people talking, at least two people talking, weaving the fabric of society, okay? And earth, this is earth, you turn your left finger over, and this is heaven. Some people point up, that's not the heaven we're talking about where we go after we pass, okay? It's just the sky, the outer space, okay? Earth and heavens as the model. If you imagine this to be a plastic injection mold, and you put the plastic in there, voila, you got the same thing, just opposites of each other, right? As the model, husband and wife, the principle of male is the right hand, principle of female is the left hand, and when they interact in the act of procreation, they interact. Husband and wife, I created in the bosom of God. We were created in the bosom of God, the third planet from the sun, the best place to be in this universe. And with the greatest care, you throw 3 times. Next verse, please. Okay, this is how I began this world. Quite simple. This is how I began this world. And began this world is a hand movement for give birth. Okay, you don't have to dig too deep, but this is a motion of a mother giving birth. Okay, and you do that twice. Okay, all right, so let's try that all together. All right, from the top. Okay, and if you can sing along, sing along. The key to understanding and the key to remembering the Otefuri is to learn the song first. Okay? Even Japanese senseis will tell you that. If you learn the song first and you understand in your own language, it's just a small step to let those words trigger what your next hand movement is going to be. All right, let's try that. Just a word to you, to what God is saying. Listen, please. No harmful thing to you will I ever say. With this world's earth and heavens as a model, husband and wife I created with the greatest care. This is how I began this world. Namu tendi ono mikoto. Very good. Give yourselves a hand for that. Choito Hanashi is the hardest part. All right, let's go to part 3. I may be on time yet. All right, part 3, I'll demonstrate for you. Okay. All ills sweeping away, salvation I hasten. One and all purify, then Kanrodai. All ills sweeping away, salvation I hasten. One and all purify, then Kanrodai. All ills sweeping away, salvation I hasten. One and all purify, then Kanrodai. Very good. Okay. So this is easy because the first half is exactly the same as part 1, except for the English grammar. Okay. So we'll start with pray, sweeping away, then salvation. Again, you press firmly. Salvation, I hasten. Okay. God is hastening our salvation. And then one and all, you're going to make a circle. Imagine that you're God and you had a globe below you and you're looking at all the people, one and all. And then purified, this is the hand movement of calm water, like a placid lake with no ripples, no turbulence, just calm and serene, like the meditations that we did before this class. Okay. And then you bring it back together. And then the Kandodai. When you sing Kandodai, you're actually, with your hand, mimicking the Kandodai stand. So you press, you turn your hands to the side, and you cup it, and that forms the base of the Kandodai stand. You bring your hands up, that is the stand itself, and then your cup hands represent the vessel or the bowl placed on top of the Kandodai, and you bow your head slightly. Okay? So part 3 is an answer to human beings' request to God for salvation and sweeping away ills. God is telling us, yes, I am sweeping away the ills, and I'm hastening your salvation. And once all of you are equally purified, then the Kandodai world, the joyous life world, will come to be. All right, let's practice that all together. Okay? All ills sweeping away, salvation I hasten. One and all purified, then Kanrodai. All ills sweeping away, salvation I hasten. One and all purified, then Kanrodai. All ills sweeping away, salvation I hasten. One and all purified, then Kanrodai. Thank you very much. Give yourselves a hand. Give yourselves a hand. Awesome. And I want to let you know on each of your tables there is a QR code. If you take a photo of that or get the QR code, and then the same QR code is there, we do have a YouTube channel now that will, currently it has only part 1 of Seated Service, but as we roll it out, we're going to have part 2, part 3, and then Yorozuyo, and then so on and so forth. You'll still be able to, in theory, use the same QR code or the URL that's listed there. We have them at each of your tables. You might want to take a picture of that. Also at the exits we have, and on the walls, we have a few of the QR codes as well pasted at the entrances, okay? Let us give a hand for our demonstrators today. And Reverend Susumu, who sang much better than I did, and Reverend Colin Saito. And I want to thank all of you for participating in our SDM demonstration today, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Marlon. What an inspiring presentation. I learned so much and look forward to performing the Seated Service and Yorozuyo in English at our churches at home.
So what did you guys think? What did you guys think? Was it great? This can help a lot of people.